just tow it now! Wait, you can't!
Ma'am, that vehicle is federal property. Do not touch it.
You cannot simply barge in here. This is private property, we have rules.
Federal law supersedes your bylaws, ma'am.
We're here for Mr. Thompson in Lot 4B.
Pursuant to this federal arrest warrant, case number 2024 CR005, you are hereby taken into custody on charges of wire fraud and embezzlement.
At 6:47 in the morning, she cut the locks on a federal drug task force vehicle with bolt cutters. She thought she was removing an eyesore from a deployed soldier's driveway. What she actually did was trigger federal alerts across 3 states and interfere with active cartel investigations. My name is Marcus Rodriguez, Army Reserve MP, recently assigned to a federal drug task force. My grandmother, Rosa, raised me after my parents died in a car crash when I was 12. She used to make homemade tortillas in that kitchen and tell me, "Stand up to bullies, mijo, but do it the right way." When she passed, she left me her house in Willowbrook Estates. I planned to rent it out during deployment, build equity, honor the woman who raised me. Bethany Kensington Wright had other plans. 7 years as HOA president had turned her into a suburban dictator. White Lexus SUV. Ruler for measuring grass height. Husband on city council. She sent violation notices for Christmas lights in January and fined elderly residents for medical equipment noise from oxygen concentrators. 2 weeks into my deployment, the email hit my inbox. Violation notice. Unauthorized commercial vehicle storage. My government-issued Jeep Wrangler, clearly marked with federal law enforcement decals, was apparently an eyesore. What Bethany never researched was what that Jeep actually contained. $347,000 of classified surveillance equipment, GPS trackers, encrypted radios, covert cameras from active cartel operations, federal property requiring department authorization to relocate. My sister Maya, a middle school teacher, drove over to explain I was deployed. She brought copies of my orders and offered to cover the Jeep with a tarp. Bethany looked at her like something stuck to a shoe. "Rules are rules," she said. "If your brother cannot follow community standards, maybe this neighborhood isn't right for your family." Maya started digging through grandmother's original 1987 HOA documents. What she found made her hands shake. Government vehicles were specifically exempted from parking restrictions. Emergency services, military, law enforcement, all protected. Bethany had been fabricating rules and counting on residents being too intimidated to check the actual bylaws. Then Maya found something worse. Meeting minutes from 2019 showing Bethany had written to the City Planning Commission recommending against military housing assistance programs because transient military populations don't maintain long-term community investment standards. Every military family in Willowbrook was being systematically targeted. The Hendersons cited for a motorcycle. The Martinez family fined for garden gnomes. Every citation fabricated. Every family chosen deliberately. Carl's development company had pre-sold 47 properties in Willowbrook to a national developer for luxury condos. Properties they didn't own yet. The plan was to drive out military families and elderly residents through bureaucratic harassment until they sold below market value. When Maya kept asking questions, Bethany escalated. She hired private security to photograph the Jeep hourly. My vehicle's built-in surveillance system recorded her trespassing 17 times in 3 days, photographing federal law enforcement equipment without authorization. At 1:43 in the morning, she used a flashlight to examine the dashboard through the windows. Then came Tuesday morning. Maya's phone buzzed me awake in a deployment tent 8,000 miles away. "Tank, she's cutting your locks. She's got bolt cutters and a tow truck." Through Maya's camera, I watched Bethany direct the tow truck toward federal law enforcement property. The driver took one look at the government markings and backed away. "Lady, this is government property. I ain't touching this for any amount of money." "It's abandoned property," she screamed. "I'm HOA president with legal authority to remove community violations." That statement, captured on 3 security cameras, became Exhibit A in the federal case. I contacted my task force supervisor through emergency channels. Federal marshals were dispatched within minutes. When they arrived, Bethany had changed the community gate locks, blocking federal agents from accessing their own property. "I don't recognize federal authority over private HOA property," she told the marshal. "You have no jurisdiction in my community." She had just declared war on the United States government while standing in her bathrobe. When I landed stateside, Maya had spent weeks building a case that stunned the federal prosecutors. Financial records showing $184,000 diverted from HOA funds to Carl's development company through fabricated contracts. Violation notices sent to our grandmother during her final hospice weeks, threatening legal action. Bethany trying to steal the entire HOA reserve fund of $63,000 the week after the federal investigation began. At the community meeting where Bethany expected to finalize my expulsion, federal marshals walked through the doors instead. "Bethany Kensington, right. You are under arrest for theft of federal law enforcement property, conspiracy to violate civil rights, embezzlement of community funds, and obstruction of federal justice." She stood there while the handcuffs clicked shut, staring at the room full of families she had terrorized for years. Carl ran for the back exit and straight into agents who had anticipated exactly that. Bethany received 8 years federal prison. Carl received 6 years and a lifetime ban from public office, full restitution to every family they had targeted. Maya was elected HOA president by acclamation. Her first act was making sure every military family in Willowbrook knew their actual rights under the original 1987 bylaws that Bethany had spent years hiding. I still wake up sometimes hearing Grandma's voice in that kitchen. "Stand up to bullies, mijo, but do it the right way." "We did, Grandma. We did."